Multiple opportunities for snow coming up in a few minutes. Ani.
Thank you so much, Chad. The life and legacy of civil rights leader Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was remembered today by the Greater Lafayette community. The Tippecanoe County Public Library usually hosts its annual MLK celebration at its downtown branch. But this year, the library opted for the Long Center to better facilitate social distancing. County librarian Josh Holman says he considered canceling the event due to COVID concerns, but he decided the community needed this time of reflection and harmony. Blogger, podcaster, and Purdue graduate student Natalie Murdoch was the keynote speaker. She discussed how King's life and legacy shaped history in a short amount of time. Holman says he hopes attendees can instill these lives some of the values King preached.
Brotherhood was one of his key messages, and also the message of you can't wait for someone else to do it, you need to act yourself.
Holman recited poetry with accompaniment from James Deckel, music director for Purdue's Black Cultural Center. Attendees also sang Lift Every Voice and Sing, which is considered the Black national anthem. Participants wrapped up the event with a singing of We Shall Overcome. Holman says even though Dr. King is no longer with us, there are many other leaders inspiring us today to make the world a better place. And on this Martin Luther King Jr. Day, voting rights advocates are demanding action from Congress. A bill to reform the election process faces long odds in the nation's capital. But as Skylar Henry reports, the president says the fight is far from over.
On this holiday marking his father's birthday, Martin Luther King III led a peace walk across Washington's Frederick Douglass Bridge. He called on Congress to pass stricter protections for voting rights.
If you can deliver an infrastructure bill for bridges, you can deliver voting rights for Americans. If you do not, there's no bridge in this nation that can hold the weight of that failure.
The bill would remove restrictions that Republicans say enhance election security. But with its passage in doubt, advocates say the nation is at a critical point.
We need to have protections at the polls and to make sure that we can get there safely.
The King family wants changes now, putting more pressure on Congress to pass sweeping voting rights reform to give more Americans access to the ballot and not allow Senate rules to stand in their way.
The unmitigated gall to hide behind cloture and the filibuster, two procedural hurdles. When black people turned the tide to get Joe Biden elected, it puts me beside myself.
Last Thursday, two moderate Senate Democrats, Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema, threw their support behind the legislation, but they do not approve of changing Senate rules in order for it to pass. Its failure would be a stinging blow to the president, who said it's not enough to praise Dr. King on this holiday. It's time for action.
We must commit to his unfinished work, to deliver jobs and justice, to protect the sacred right to vote.
The Senate plans to debate the voting rights bill on Tuesday. The president says whatever happens, he'll continue the fight. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Washington.
Speaking from the White House, Vice President Kamala Harris said the freedom to vote is under assault and said it's time for the Senate to do its job and pass the voting rights bill.